Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So more work on the pillar. Might get to some vines, but probably not this stitching session. We've got a couple of columns to go before we get there because it's, right there at the edge, but we will continue to work our way out towards it. So yeah, you can hear my furnace running because it's a chilly one today. It's below freezing this morning. So yeah, but then it's supposed to be nice and warm in a couple of days, so yeah. Oh, sorry guys, starting off by bonking the camera. Try not to do that anymore. Okay. Yeah, usually I go for my walk first and then I do my filming, but today I'm gonna reverse that order so that it's hopefully a little bit warmer when I go for my walk. Yeah, yesterday it was really windy, and yeah, even with a proper jacket on and earmuffs and everything, I was still pretty cold. I didn't take quite as many steps during that walk as I normally do because, yeah, it was pretty chilly. I probably burned the same number of calories though because I was burning them to keep warm. Oh dear. Yeah, winter is quickly approaching here. Got a remote to turn on my crafting lamp, but it doesn't always want to register first couple of times I push the button, so. Okay. Oh my gosh, I tell you, I do know how to thread a needle, but today it does not want to cooperate with me. Yeah, so some people are getting their Halloween displays out already. It was funny because we had our neighbors across the street one time. They didn't really decorate that much, but they put up a bunch of crime scene tape on one of their trees. And of course I immediately think, oh no, what happened? Before realizing, oh, it was for decoration. I said, maybe I watched too many crime shows because, yeah. Oh. Okay. Just trying to plan where I want to use this thread. See if I can do it both without closing things in and getting the most efficient path. So I often say this is like doing a puzzle. So yeah, oh look at that, we're at 21.12, so 2112. It's a palindrome number. So yeah, I've readjusted my goal. I'm gonna say 23% by the end of the month. I think 25 was too much. So, because yeah, each percent is over 3,000 stitches, so that's an extra 6,000 stitches, and I think that might be more than I can manage, so we shall see. We should get it next month, I would say. Should be no problem. Gotta celebrate those big milestones. Okay, grab some pink. gosh, I tell you. There we are. Yeah, I went and got this little needle threader once that it's like you push a button, a little hook comes out, goes through the eye of the needle and pulls the thread back. But then I found the little hook part was actually a little bit too big to properly go through the eye of the needle, and it kept breaking my needles. So I went, okay, I'll just have to thread them manually. Fluff coming through there. There we go. So yeah, I got a bit of a sore throat today, so I may not be quite as talkative. Apologize in advance. Yeah, the smoke has rolled back in a bit. So not as bad as it's been some previous days this year, but yeah, not great either. Hopefully next summer will be clearer. We won't have as many wildfires, because yeah, this year has been very bad for that. Worst one since the 80s, they said, so yeah. Okay, and I'm going to start another one up higher here. Yeah, we're going to have a few threads of this color, I can tell. But there's quite a lot in this area, so I think we should use them all up, no problem. Ooh. Oh, my goodness, pardon me. I actually slept okay last night, but then somebody decided that early in the morning was a great time to set off fireworks. Like, sheesh. Yeah, it's this somebody who lives a couple streets over. Just every now and then they just set them off whenever they feel like, 1 in the morning, 6 a.m. Like, for Pete's sake. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, I have to say. Because I had one time, it was summer, so I had my window open. It was 1 in the morning, set off. It scared the heck out of me, my gosh. So I was right at that almost falling asleep part. So yeah, it really made me jump. Oh, darn, we got a knot. There we go. Okay. Oh my goodness. Gee. Kind of once you get a knot one time, I find it's easier for the thread to knot up again because it gets a kink in it. So yeah, the last few sessions I wasn't stitching very diagonally, but here the colors are going exactly the slope of the diagonal that I usually like to work, so yeah, like I say, I follow the colors, so this one is going the same way, which is nice. Makes it a little easier. All right, I can see I've got 2 strands of this 648 here. One right here. It's decent length. One here that's a bit shorter. Okay. So I'll stitch with this top one until it runs out and then bring the bottom one up to meet it. Yeah, will probably just be these 5 stitches here. There we go. So yeah. So there's some vines here, but it kind of goes into this diagonal right here. So we might get to those a little sooner. We'll see. Or whether I decide to wait until I've worked my way across to get the vines starting from the top. Yeah, just kind of all depends. I don't plan that far ahead. I'll decide when I get there. Yeah, so my husband's gearing up to go to his last, hopefully, big trip of this year. He had to go out of town yesterday or the day before, I think, because, yeah, the fan that he temporarily fixed had to be replaced properly. And he said, yeah, it was a good thing that he went then, because he said he didn't think it would have lasted another day. Yeah, it was barely held together. And he said sort of once it stopped, there's no way it would have started up again. So, yeah, but now that's all done, so. Yeah, one of the other guys in the company, he works, he covers the area that's further east part of Canada, because my husband covers most of Western Canada. Yeah, the guy was planning this big trip to go to one of their sites, and then he broke his foot, poor guy. So, like the day before he was scheduled to fly out. So yeah. Oh. Yeah, these things happen sometimes. Yeah, it was funny. We went to a dinner theater a few months back, and one of the actors had a walking boot on. They said, yeah, you know, when we say break a leg in the theater, we usually don't mean it literally, but she did. But yeah, she didn't drop out, so I said, you know, she's quite the trooper. I think they might have modified her part a bit so she didn't have to move around so much either. So. Okay, so this, oh, I wanted the yellow one. Yeah, I think we can manage to do all these without doing anything out of order. I like when I managed to do that. There we go. So yeah, that works out just right. I wasn't able to get my fabric perfectly taut on here, but good enough. Yeah, I think it's actually probably time to go through my working tray of colors here and put a bunch of these blues away that were for the sky and the hills there, because I won't be needing them for a bit. Oh, pardon me, sorry. Yeah, throat's getting irritated. So I could continue on all the way down with this thread, but I may just go across a couple big squares and then go back up to the top, sort of keep working my way sideways. We'll see what I decide to do. Keep it kind of clustered in one little area. It's easier for you guys to see it on camera because I can get it nicely zoomed in on that one spot so you can really see the detail. At least that's the plan. So yeah, still going through all the old camcorder footage because we had about, 5 years of it before, yeah, we got our smartphones and stopped really using that camcorder. Yeah, and they're all just date stamped, but there's nothing, no names there, so I have to go through each and put a little caption on it so I know what's what. Actually, I'm just going to go right down to here, yeah, because there's a band of color here going across from the pillar, so that kind of makes a natural break point there. So that's where I'm going to work down to and then keep working across for a bit before I start to fill in the bottom part. Yeah, so sometimes I just cut it off arbitrarily, but a lot of times the colors sort of make a natural stopping point. So then I just do that. And I think actually this thread is going to run out right when all these stitches that I've highlighted are completed. So that also works out very nicely. Yeah, so only TV shows that are back right now are the Canadian shows. I guess they're on a different union because of the writers and actors strike, yeah. So Murdoch Mysteries premiered right on time, so we're enjoying that. Yeah, that was a show that my husband got sucked into. He was like, oh, he wasn't interested, but then I watched it around him so much that he started to get curious. It's a fun show. It's set, it started just before the turn of the century to 1900s, and yeah, the main character, he's a tinkerer kind of guy. He creates all sorts of stuff, things that were not actually invented then, but are technically would have been possible with the technology at the time. So it's fun. Like he made a metal detector, which runs off of somebody has to ride a bike to create the charge. And yeah, it's this huge bulky thing, but of course it works. And yeah. And I said, honestly, the character reminds me of my husband a lot because he's always inventing things, which my husband is the same way. Can you believe it? I got a knot right at the end there. All I needed to do was one more lousy pin stitch, and darn thing knotted up on me. So I'm going to actually there's about an inch left, so I'm going to just draw it across the back to be certain it's secure, as I only managed to do one pin stitch before I had to trim it. Yeah, I always like to do at least two. Just don't think it's going to be secure if it's only one stitch. So yeah, that's pretty frustrating. Yeah, if it's going to knot up, I'd rather at the beginning when I still have lots of thread to save it, but then of course it's less likely to knot up then because, yeah, it's more likely to knot up at the end when it's been pulled through the fabric a bunch of times and it gets kind of, yeah, coiled up or whatever. Almost felt like a knot there again. Jeez. Yeah, a bird smacked into my window early this morning. Really loud. Scared the heck out of me. Thankfully, the bird was okay. I was a little stunned, but he flew off again. So, yeah, he left some feathers on my window. I'm going to have to go and clean that off. Yeah, he really smacked into it. Actually, let's just do that one as well and then park it. This is too short to bother leaving it threaded. Go back up a bit. Did it again. Yeah, either you can select unfinished stitches or finished stitches of a color, but you can't do both. So yeah, if you accidentally hit a one that's already completed, then you can't highlight any of these ones that are not completed yet, because it's toggled, right? You can either highlight it to mark it as done or highlight it to frog it again. Rip it back out. Oh, yeah, which is where that joke came from. Rip it, rip it. Yeah, use that in knitting too. Or there was one we called frogging when you're ripping a whole bunch out, and then they called it tinking when you have to knit backwards just a couple stitches, undo them to catch a mistake. So Tink is knit backwards. So yeah, yeah, it's pretty silly. Okay, so that thread is out. So I may come back down here and start working my way back up from this band of color here. Yeah. The horizontal band where the pillar changes shape there. Yeah, so like I said, since there hasn't been many new shows, I've been watching The Wheel of Time. We had to restart it. We watched season 1 when it came out, but then there was such a gap that, yeah, we forgot almost everything that happened. I used to be better at keeping plot lines in my head, but yeah, as I get older, not so much. I'm thankful for the internet that I can search for that if I've forgotten, find a recap of a episode, especially a finale if I've forgotten it. Although I've always been bad for remembering endings. I don't know why. I'll be so eager to see the ending of stuff, but then I'm bad at remembering what happened. And somebody will ask me, how did it end? And I'm like, I don't remember. I watched it, but yeah, it didn't stick. Unless the ending really sticks with me. Usually because if it ended terribly, then I'm going to remember it. Yeah, like, we watched, the BBC did a, Robin Hood adaptation show, and, the first 2 seasons were really good, but, then, okay, so spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen it, but, then one of the main characters wanted to leave, so they killed them off, which really didn't work for the story as far as I was concerned. And then another main character wanted to leave, and so they tried to keep the show going by writing in a new character to take over, but it just didn't work. So yeah, that's one problem. Like, there's a podcaster I listen to who says that she doesn't watch TV generally unless it's miniseries, because she says they don't know where they're going with the story because they're trying to make it stretch out, and yeah, you know, they're trying to get another season, they're trying to get into syndication, and so yeah, sometimes they end up going in weird directions that aren't true to the characters to try and stretch it out when it should have ended. And it's like, yeah, I like TV, but I have to admit she does have a point sometimes. Sometimes the characters just kind of keep spinning their wheels and not moving, and that gets really frustrating for the viewer. Yeah. Nothing like when a story goes on longer than it should have and just kind of starts to feel drawn out and padded. Yeah, that gets kind of annoying. But then at the same time, I'll watch a mini series, and now these days, you know, if it's you know, 6 episodes or something, and it's like, wow, that's it, because I'm starting to get used to epic TV shows that are, you know, like 50 episode, you know, hour-long episodes. Yeah, so you can really get into the characters. Okay, need a new thread. I guess it works when they adapt big long book series, but that still has an ending, a planned direction that it's going. Yeah, then I guess it really works better that way. Yeah, I remember a few years ago they said that Netflix bought the rights to the Chronicles of Narnia, and they were going to make a TV series about it, but then I haven't heard anything since, so I would love to see that be done, because yeah, watched the movies and they weren't bad, but the books are a bit big to be trying to put into a movie. Yeah. Because people will sit through maybe a 3-hour movie, but not really much longer. But they'll watch a series that's 40 hours long because it's divided into, you know, chapters, into bite-sized pieces. So, yeah, because somebody said, you know, someone will say, you know, want to watch a 10-hour movie? It's like, no, what are you talking about? That's, you know, that's ridiculous. And it says, okay, you want to watch 10 1-hour episodes? Yeah, right on, I'm in. And it's like I said, well, it's because it's like a book divided into chapters. If it was 300 straight pages with no breaks, you'd be too overwhelmed probably. But otherwise, it's often, well, just one more chapter until next thing you know, you've read the whole thing. And same with the episodes is, okay, well, just one more episode. The worst, though, is when you actually mean one more episode, but then it ends with a huge cliffhanger, and it's like, well, I can't go to sleep now, because it'll just keep me awake wondering what happened. So, yeah, I've done that before. That one's all twisted up. Let's see if I can get that to lie flat again. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to end up with a couple of threads, I think, for that. Okay. Where was I at? Here we are. Okay, just looking at the different colors here and what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to the top here. Oh, actually, I need to fill in one there next to it. At least it's not super windy out there, so I shouldn't be dealing with wind chill when I do go for my break. Because, yeah, the other day it was, whew, even with a proper windbreaker on it, cut through ya. Yeah, that's often the problem around here is the ambient temperature is fine, but then the wind chill will just, yeah, feels like it chills you to the bone. Okay. All right, there's going to be a little bit of juggling here. I think I may end up going out of order for for a stitch or two. Let's just see what we've got to work with here. So there's the yellow one, and then there's this one here, this color right here. Yeah, actually, no, let's see if I've got a short piece for that one in the corner, which I think I do. Perfect. Super short piece, but it should be enough for one single stitch. Oh, if I can thread it, that is. Oh my gosh. Okay, stay lined up if you would. There we go. Gotcha. Darn it. I hate when I do that. Kind of end up pulling at the loop instead of the end and undoing my work there. Yeah, these tiny little pieces are very fiddly to work with, but I'll persevere. Okay. I'm gonna have to zoom in a bit more because I keep on yeah, selecting the wrong color. My thumb is too wide when it's zoomed in that far. Goodness, what happened here? Okay, I see. Strands got kind of wrapped around each other, but I managed to untangle them. Oh, look at that. I've done 1, 2, 3 today. Okay, so, right, do a couple of this yellow here. gotta trim this. Okay, so yes, we're cutting it right off where it's going to change shades, where it becomes the vines is I think where I'm going to work up to today. But yeah, so later in the month we should see some more flowers and vines. More besides just this wall here. See how long this piece is here, whether I need to add another piece. If I can pull this free. Yeah, no, it's decent length, so. But I've got sort of a second run of that color too. So now I'll stick with one thread for now. I'll add more as I need it. So that means doing this color. Stitch right next to it here. Oh. Try and grab both strands because that would work a little better. It's really uneven there. add another strand as I need it. I don't need it at this exact moment, so. Okay, so these four here. Yeah, so the colors are starting to curve around here because there's a leaf that's going to come up here. And I may just add some of the colors here because, yeah, there's kind of a leaf point here rather than bringing all the colors from the top there. But like I said, I'll decide when I actually get to stitching it. Sometimes I have a plan, and then once I actually get there, I realize a different plan will work better. Unthread that because I think it's going to be a while before I get to it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to bring this one back up. Now, even with having to change colors a lot, we're closing in on 200 quite easily. Yeah, when it goes the same direction as the diagonal there. And it's this kind of stripe pattern, it goes pretty quick. Okay, let's see. I think this run might, yeah, use up this thread anyway. I think I can probably get a couple more stitches out of that one. So won't tie it off just yet. Wonder if this means I'm done this yellow for a while. Oh no, I still have a bunch further down this page, so it's just done with the yellow in this area for now here. Oh, we're past 200. Nice. Switch colors again for a second. Wow, that one's really uneven too. No hope of threading that till I trim it properly. I think I'm going to work up to the vines here, and then I'm going to cut it off because I'm going to want to move my frame over again so I don't have to reach over as far. Or it starts to mess my back up from everything being so uneven. Further I got to reach with my left hand, the more I put my spine out of alignment. So yeah, I kind of wish I could stitch two-handed the other way to give myself a break, but I tried and I cannot do it with my non-dominant hand underneath. It takes so long to find the right place that it just, yeah, it ends up taking more time than if I was just stitching one-handed again. So check the other thread down here. Okay, see whether I'm going to have to add another one. Oh, did I? Oh no, I didn't. Thought I'd done something wrong for a second there, but no, I didn't. Just didn't highlight what I was about to stitch. Oh, yeah, that went down not quite right. There we go. Down right next to the hole in the fabric instead of through it. Yeah, I was pretty sure I remembered this one was still threaded, so I might as well just do these 2 stitches here and tie it off. I can squeak a few more stitches out of that, so. All right, well, if I do one more stitch, we'll be at a nice even 250. So I think is where I'm gonna call it quits for today. All right, I'm gonna tie this one off because I don't need both. And I did start at 0 this morning, so yeah, all 250 stitches during this session with y'all. Okay, so just make sure I put this away correctly. Yeah, so I apologize for not being as talkative today, but my throat's bugging me. But yeah, 250 stitches. That's some good progress. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.